right now. In the mix. A better mix of music.
You're locked on to the number one radio station. Number one radio station. In the mix. The mix. And we ain't stopping.
On Diamond 88.7 FM. For the best of national, local, international news and sport, tune in to News Punch and Diamond 88.7 FM. News Punch, all about the news.
All right, it's 3 minutes to come past the hour of 9 this very wonderful morning. Good morning and thank you for staying with us on Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. This is News Punch, a news and current affairs compilation of topical stories and headlines making the rounds. I am your host, Nedu Okorie. You're welcome. All right, here are the headlines trending in today's news. Nigerian government will not intervene in NNPCL Dangote petrol price face-off, says presidency. Bobrisky saga, Interior Minister orders probe of bribery claim in Nigerian Correctional Service. Tax, federal government proposes NIN registration for foreigners. Court bars PDP others from dissolving pro-weak executives in Rivers. Senate confirms Kekereekun has substantive CJN. Reps adopt FCT 288 billion naira supplementary budget. Insecurity, federal government promises to prioritize needs of armed forces. NBA demands probe of 15 million naira bribery allegation against EFCC. NBS says food prices increased in August 2024. 80.2 billion naira scandal. EFCC declares no hiding place for Yaya Bello. Vows full prosecution. ASU threatens strike, gives federal government 14-day ultimatum. Still on the local scene, Kwara local government polls produced chairman councillors without people's mandate, says Saraki. Local government polls, Saraki lacks credibility to speak on people's welfare, says Kwara state government. And lastly, on the local scene, teenager sets house ablaze after stealing food stuff in Ilorin. And moving on to the foreign scene, Lebanon strikes are preparations for ground incursion. Israel army chief tells troops. President Zelensky says Russia planning to target nuclear plants. U.S. announces $424 million in new aid for Sudanese at UN meeting. And lastly, on the foreign scene, bus plunges into river, killing 28 in Ethiopia. And in sports, Nigeria beat Malawi by 86 runs in Cricket World Cup qualifier. Transfer, former Arsenal goalkeeper Szczesny in shock, moved to Barcelona. All right, there you have it. Those are the major headlines making the rounds this morning. It was compiled and edited by Joseph Meribe. My name is Nedu Okorie. For sponsorship or advert placement, kindly contact our sales and marketing office on 0912 929 4332. You can also call 090 7722 7120. Up next is the Diamond Breakfast Show, where we discuss and have an in-depth analysis on some of the topical stories Don't forget that you can follow us by logging onto any of Diamond FM online platforms on www.diamondfm.net or keep up to date via our social media pages. Do stay tuned.
The major talking points in Nigeria are always on the lips of the citizens.
What's going on in this country? Look at smaller countries taking lead, and you call yourself giant of Africa. Yeah.
Nigeria don't spoil my business too much. Nigeria is too hard for us. I mean, they want to kill us. Why not kill us for Nigeria? Oh, please, help us beg them.
They should reduce their expenditure so that they can free enough money for social development.
I wish for a Nigeria where we elect a leader based on competency and not popularity.
On the Diamond Breakfast Show, we place the spotlight on the critical issues in the country.
Government that says they are broke can prioritize construction of an additional runway over education of the people.
How can a government, how can you hold Indomine? I mean, this is intolerable. It's provocative.
Now, you see, when you look at our democratic journey, we are yet to practice genuine democratic system in Nigeria.
Join us on Mondays to Friday on the DBS from 9 to 10 a.m. The Diamond Breakfast Show, amplifying the voice of the people.
From the studios of Diamond 88.7 FM in Lorry, this is the Diamond Breakfast Show.
All right, 8 minutes come past the hour of 9 this very wonderful morning. You're still listening to your shining supreme station, Diamond 88.7 FM, the first and the best in Ilorin. Well, this is yet another time to discuss issues of national importance. Welcome to the Diamond Breakfast Show, where we have conversations on trending topics from the national dailies. I am your host, Nedu Okorie. You're welcome. Good morning and welcome on board. All right, this very wonderful morning, we have 3 hot topics to discuss. Statements from the presidency regarding Mr. President's cabinet reshuffle is the first topic we're going to be discussing this morning. We'll also look at Oshiomhole's statement regarding those planning to defect to APC. We'll discuss on cross-carpeting in Nigeria. And we'll also look at claims about Nigerian cross-dresser Bobrisky bribing officials of the EFCC with 15 million naira. We'll look at all these issues this morning, and you can be a part of our conversation. All you need to do is send your WhatsApp message via 0913 655 6864, or you call the studio lines when it would be opened on 0913 655 6952. Please make your message very short and precise. Go straight to the point and no deviation. We're also live on Facebook right now, on Facebook at Diamond 887 FM, on YouTube at Diamond FM Ilorin. All right, it's very important to note that every thought and opinion heard on this platform are the thoughts of our listeners and also our guests. It does not in any way reflect the opinion of Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin. All right, my guest whom I'll be having these conversations with is already seated in the studio. My guest is a public affairs commentator, and it's been a long time I saw him, Mr. Sukomi Toby John. You're welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're
and I would encourage you also to try the Wednesday show. You understand? So maybe the contact will be frequent.
Of course. All right, you're welcome to the program. All right, let's delve straight into today's conversation. Yesterday, the presidency, through Bayo Ononuga, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, said that President Bola Tinubu will soon reshuffle his cabinet, hopefully before the 1st of October. And in line with this, the president has asked his minister to actively communicate the milestones and achievement of the administration and all they have achieved in terms of publicizing the successes of the administration. Well, some sources say that a significant reshuffle may involve the dissolving of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, previously headed by the suspended Betta Edu, with plans to either merge or split certain portfolios. Now, let's not forget that in November last year, Mr. President announced that the Central Delivery Coordination Unit would measure performances of ministers and those of other top government officials, which would determine who would leave or who would stay. Now, let's assess these cabinet members, 45 ministries. And there are some who, according to some people, they will say they've remained dormant or they are not active based on their perception. What's your take on this reshuffling coming up?
Well, good morning to our listeners once again.
Okay.
I'll start by saying that, the reshuffling is long overdue. Like you said some, there are feelers out there with the belief that some of the ministers are, redundant in quotes. You understand me? I think there is a lot of, fact and justification to that. First, when you look at how a lot of them seem to be, shying away from addressing the public, number one. And number two, when you look at, their impact on the livelihood of the people with regards to the responsibility, they've been saddled with, not much, you understand, can be said about at least half of them. You get me? But to be honest with you, when you look at it, when you look at what is going on within all of these ministries, it's not as though these ministers are not actually up and doing. But the problem we have is that there's this kind of attitude which seem to put, place them as though they are not in sync with the president. I'm talking about with the renewed hope agenda of the president.
Okay.
Because they are working. Let's say more like when you're working, with someone whom you believe in, you get me right, you will tend to actually put your all, even go to the extent of, involving what we call eye service in this part of the world. But we've not really seen, such a move, you understand what I'm saying, within this cabinet. So the reshuffling is key. But this is where my problem lies.
Okay.
The key performance indicators.
Yes.
Which was said to have been outlined. Nobody, I'm talking about outside the confines of the government, can actually say categorically what exactly the key performance indicators, you understand what I'm saying, are. And the last time we heard from Adiza Bala Osman, who is the special advisor to the president on policy coordination, you understand what I'm saying, we were expecting her to come out and outline some of these key performance indicators so that we can check how well aligned the actions of each of these ministers, you understand what I'm saying, fits into the renewed hope agenda of the presidency. But we've not really we've not seen that. So when you look at this, also you can also let's say cut the ministers also some slacks, because we can't really tell what exactly the president has asked them to do. You understand me? Do we just have people who were told to go, you understand what I'm saying, and design a policy, you understand what I'm saying, that will be implemented in their various ministries? Or do we have people whom the president sat down with, you understand what I'm saying, before appointment, outlining what he wants and telling them to go marshal out how they will get, his objective achieved? You understand me? So when you look at it from this perspective, I believe you would to a very large extent you would cut the minister some slack. But I'll say this, I'll leave with this, that there's need for the key performance indicators, you understand what I'm saying, to be publicized for everybody to be able to access it, in order not to see it as a form of political, in quotes, witch hunt of some sort, because there are some certain feelers out there who believe that some ministers from a certain region of the country, are a little bit docile in terms of the way they've handled the presidency. The president, you understand what I'm saying? Because the first line of defense which the president have, you understand what I'm saying, against the people, or the mediator between the people and the president, or the government, the government and the people, is the minister. You understand what I'm saying? The ministers are supposed to take some bullets for the president. But what we have, you understand what I'm saying, majorly before the last End Bad Governance campaign, was that some certain elements within the government were quiet. You understand what I'm saying? And that, what's it called? Their quietness speaks so loud. You understand? So this has further armed, this set of people who believe that this some of these ministers are really not loyal to the president. So in order to dispel such a political narrative, I think it's going to be in the interest of the president to put the key performance indicators out there, so that anybody who is striving with responsibility or any minister that is replaced will not be seen as to be politically, sacrificed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sukomi Toby John, for your submission. You mentioned two important things. You mentioned the fact that in some ministries there might not be certain blueprints that has been laid out in line with the renewed hope agenda, and also the coordinating unit and should release the KPA, the key performance indicators to assess. And do you think that the citizenry and the electorate should be involved in this assessment in some ways? Should it involve stakeholders and all that? And also, there are ministries that have noted, in the news we've not been hearing some of their strides and some of their milestones or their achievements at all. For example, the Ministry of Steel Development. What is happening with Ajaokuta? That questions come to bear. Ministry of we have Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation and all that, and there are many are saying that some has to be merged. I think we have the Ministry of Environment separately. So all this indicators, and also the number of ministers. Buhari had 44, Tinubu has 45 ministers, and the number also in terms of cutting cost of governance. All these things, let's look at all this holistically. How can we reduce cost of governance in terms of reduction, and those ministries that are docile, how can we curtail them?
Well, I will start by approaching your last question.
Okay.
You get me in terms of the overbloated cabinet of the current administration.
Yes.
Now, I think the reason why it appears as though the ministry, or let me say the government, is overbloated is because the people are not actually feeling the impact of the government as much as they would have. You understand what I'm saying? Relatively to the numbers of, people in government.
Yes.
You understand what I'm talking about? So let's assume if these ministers, or let me say, if the people are feeling the impact and the policies of the government, I doubt if anybody would actually look at that, aspect. I tell you. Yeah, even though we all know that, the number of ministers also contributes to the amount at which the government will have to expend. You understand what I'm saying? On what's it called?
Resources,
on each ministry.
Yeah.
You get me? So the failure of the government to actually deliver its plan appropriately has contributed to the belief that some ministers, you understand what I'm saying, or let me say the cabinet is overbloated. But that said, in terms of trimming down on the what's it called, the magnitude of the government, I think for me, I personally have the belief that when you look at what's the overhead I'm talking about per ministries, or let me say the cost of overhead of each minister, you get it, right? It's actually, if you have to remove them, you understand what I'm saying, you realize that in total it's actually a very mega percentage of our budget. You understand?
Really?
Yes, it's a mega percent. You see, a lot of times the problem we have in Nigeria is that we love sensational.
You mean mega?
Yeah, with
this 45 ministries, you're talking of the overhead cost is actually mega compared to the national budget?
Yes, relatively.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So the problem is that a lot of those things are sensationalized. When you look at the total, expenditure on each, ministers, in quote, not even the minister, on each ministers, it contributes less than, 1% of the national budget. You understand me? Yes. So considerably, even if you are to trim down the government, I'm talking about reduced ministries, you get me, right? That would not really be that, it won't drive much impact. You understand? As much as, we Nigerians expect.
Okay.
But the truth is, the optics alone will buy the president some time. You understand what I'm saying? Because as a leader, in terms of policy, the difference between policy implementation and by the time the effect on the people, it takes a while. And at times, the people run out of patience. You get me, right? Some of these optics are one of the things, you understand what I'm saying, that would buy the president enough time. You understand what I'm saying? Believing that the president runs a lean government. You understand what I'm saying? We convince the people that, the president is actually in sync with his proposition with regards to people, trimming down on their lifestyle, and at the same time, you get me right, bringing down what's it called, rebasing the economy. So I think if the president chooses, to trim it down, yes, it will be good for the optics. But when you look at in terms of the monetary terms, what is the impact on government expenditure? It's actually it's very mega.
Well, talking about impact, many people won't see it this way, based on the fact that based on the current economic realities, and many would assume that as far as there are many ministries, it will be assumed that much funds are being diverted to these ministries that to some are not even functioning. I've mentioned some, such as the Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, Ministry of Arts and Culture.
You see, let's say I'm not trying to hold brief for the Minister of what's it called, Steel here, but when you look at what is going on, there's movement within the ministry, but it seems the man, or should I say,
there's no progress.
Media, there's movement to I think some couple of weeks ago, not even some couple, I think sometimes last week, the minister signed a contract and a memorandum of understanding with a Russian company. You get me right? And we all know that one of the problems we are facing with Ajaokuta steel development is because of the management. You get me right? True. Was constructed by the Russians, then later transferred to Indians, and you understand what I'm saying. So now we are having the Russians back. You understand what I'm talking about? Back, to run the affairs of what's it called, the steel company. So I think it's actually a commendable development. But the problem is that the government, the ministry, you understand what I'm saying, the medial aid of the minister are actually not living up to the billions. You get me right? Because much is not being said about the activities of the minister. No, let me point this out. The minister and I are from the same state, so I don't want my position to be misinterpreted, as me defending him. But this is what I feel.
You also don't want to paint him black.
Well, we can say that also. You get me right?
Okay.
But the truth is, it's not as though maybe there is no movement in the ministry. I'm talking about. It's not as though the ministry is not, working at all.
All right.
But the fact that the level of movement within the ministry is not incommensurate with the expectation of the people. By now, majority of Nigerians expect significant operation. I'm talking about in terms of the steel manufacturing from Ajaokuta, by now. But what we have, nothing is being produced yet, even though we learned that there are some certain rods that coming out from it. But in terms of the major what's it called? Installation of the plant, which is the manufacturing of steel itself, has not come on board.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tsukomi Toby John, for your submission. All right, let's allow our listeners at home to participate in this conversation this morning. The number to call is 0913-655-6952. 0913-655-6952. We're looking at the issue, the statement from the presidency that the cabinet would be reshuffled before October 1. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
I'm Bamidele. I'm calling from Okorie.
You're welcome, Mr. Bamidele.
You have mentioned 3 ministries. There is one. Is it
digital
water economy or what?
Ministry of Digital Economy.
No, not digital.
Blue marine. Marine blue.
Former governor of Osun State.
Marine blue. That's marine and blue economy,
Yeah.
Okay, that's Ministry of Transportation. Adigboyega Oyetola.
No, it's marine blue economy.
Okay. I think he has been transferred.
Your guest is right. I've never had anything going on in that ministry. That is bitter truth. So, constitutionally, President must select one minister from his state. To me, 36 ministers are okay. And if you look at it, we don't even need that Badaru, former governor of Jigawa State, as Minister of Defense. Since Batawale, the Minister of State, is doing everything. So, those things, if they are taken care of, it will reduce cost of governance. And we need vibrant people. Like you said, that Ministry of Art and Culture, you can see that lady was even serving, she was a serving youth corp member. And see, she was sitting. All those things, they are not necessary. So we need active people. Economy is done. People who wake up the economy. Those are the people we need the ministry.
All right.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bamidele Ige. Well, talking about Ministry of Art and Culture, I remembered while she was being screened by the Senate, and they mentioned that she was still serving, and everybody actually had different reactions regarding that. Well, 0913-655-6952. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Alaji Tayo calling from Port Harcourt.
You're welcome, Alaji Tayo.
You see, when politics are not based on the needs of the people, that is the kind of thing we have. Many a times, none of these ministries are created to serve as a compensation to whoever must have assisted through electionary campaign. And that's why we keep on having bloated ministry. Then again, it is not even the president that will fashion out this ministry. Some people are in charge of it. There will be a committee that will advise the president that this is what we have, this is what we have. But many of these committee members, are they really serving truly Nigerians, or they are serving themselves? Because they will bring in personal interest into all these things. Otherwise, why should we be having Minister of Blue Economy when we have Minister of Transportation, we have Minister of Education? And this particular Minister of Blue Economy, I've not heard anything from that ministry all this while. Then we have Minister of Minerals, we have Minister of Steel and Iron Development. That is Auduson in Nigeria. You see, all these things are necessary. They should try to streamline the number of ministries. The other time, the president was saying that they want to create a disaster relief fund when we have national emergency management agencies. Why can't this kind of environment manage this? Look at the other time, they wanted to create Minister of Livestock when we have Minister of Agri. So you see, because of the situation we are into in the country now, because the country is broke, so to say, they should try to put down this ministry and give us the only one that will be functional and that will have direct impact to the people. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Alaji Taye, for your submission. All right, 0913-655-6952. You can also drop your message on WhatsApp on 0913-655-6864. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, please, good morning. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Abayomi from the line.
You're welcome, Abayomi.
You see, it's just a pity that the ministers have to receive some lashes. And it's not far-fetched from the overconfidence of the president himself. And if care is not taken, God forbid, this might be how they will struggle throughout their tenure. Because when you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. I haven't seen a place where you will inherit an office, immediately the first thing you create is trouble.
The first thing you create is what?
Like Yoruba, we say that in your tea, Joko, you haven't seen that and you are stretching your leg. You haven't seen anything at all, and you say subsidy is gone. And today, everybody, the ministers, even the president himself, cannot breathe well. Who did he consult? How did he get whatever information before declaring that? Even the past president even gave him 1 month. That 1 month is for him to decide if he will continue to pay that subsidy or remove it at his own will. But he did all what he did. So today, as for me, I can't blame any ministers because he didn't consult them before doing anything. He only do that at his own discretion. And today, we are all breathing heavily. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abayomi. Well, talking about selection of ministers, or appointment of ministers, what do you make of this assertion that ministers or an incoming president should have thought of those who are going to administer certain ministries before assuming that position? For example, this last caller mentioned the fact that the president made an announcement of subsidies gone and all that without proper implementation and proper plans. What do you make of selecting those ministers beforehand?
Well, it's part of the problem with the structure of our politics. You get me? Let's assume if we live in an environment or a system whereby there's I'm talking about this principle of collective responsibility, where a failure of a minister is visited on the entire cabinet. I believe the government, before coming to power, would have taken its time to pick, capable lens from different parts of the country before, going further to implement the other policy. But it's so sad that here in Nigeria, we don't have, even if a minister, everything we are complaining about right now boils down to just one certain minister, to be honest. If the ministry performs excellently well, which is more like the coordinating minister who is handling the economy, you understand what I'm saying? If he performs very well, I believe some of the excesses of these ministers that we are pointing at, we won't be seen at all. You get me? But for the fact that we have,
there's lapses on one side.
You get me? You understand what I'm talking about? So it makes it appear as though other ministers are not working or they are doing absolutely nothing in their ministries.
Some are also of the opinion that ministerial positions are transactional rather than based on competence. Do you assert to that?
Well, for me, I don't subscribe to such thinking because I believe, I don't like to, what's it called? Should I say more like propagate public sentiments? No, I don't. For me, I want to have the fact. I don't have the facts with me. You get me, right? So, but we all know that in one way or the other, some people would have to work for work with the president, or he would have to appoint some people into his cabinet. And there are many reasons. You understand what I'm saying? That he would allude to. I'm talking about for before making any appointment. So just leaving everything on the blanket slate of the fact that some people paid their way into the ministry. I think that is populist and is something I wouldn't want to subscribe to.
Okay, all right. You are not of the populist school of thought.
No, at all.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tsukomi, for your submission. This is still the Diamond Breakfast Show, and I am Nedu Okorie, where we're discussing issues of national importance and where the presidency has made it known that the cabinet, the ministers, would be reshuffled before the 1st of October. Well, you can also keep your messages coming in via WhatsApp 0913-655-6864. We have to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take your messages and we'll also delve into other matters.
For fast relief of cold pain, fever and headache. Karaole, koko.
Sọ fún ẹ̀fọ́ ní òtútù yìí bàtàrà ríro kí wọ́n kán lùgbó one time. Karaole ti dé o. Àgbàwọlé ní tíṣẹ́ ni àkàwọlé ń tè kan. Koríko tẹ́lẹ̀ bá ti tẹ òtún gbérí mọ́. Dìde Karaole lúbúlúbú funfun pẹ̀yìn rúkù sarajọ mẹ́ra yágágá. Àjàká kò tí sọkọ fún ẹ̀fọ́ ní òtútù yìí bàtàrà ríro lágọ̀ọ́ ara. Káì! Kàsàkàsà knockout. Agbára ju agbára lọ. Dìde Karaole jagunla bí olùgbòǹgbò gàjàtọ̀ ara jàtọ̀ kìtìlẹ̀. Ẹgbẹ́ ìlúra kẹgbà. To Yield Pharmaceutical Industries Limited. Àwọn tó lórúkọ tó ṣe gbẹ́kẹ̀lé níbi kápò oògùn òyìnbó ló ṣe. Bára rẹ̀ ò bá yá lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta. Má ṣàfihàn o, kàn sí dókítà rẹ̀.
Hello there! Looking for fun, laughter, entertainment, dance, trend, want to mingle or connect, some relaxation, and many more? Search no further. Diamond Amusement Park, located at Plot 2 New Yidi Road, Ilorin, is where you get those. We've got pendulum, carousels, rocket launcher, roller coaster, Oculus Quest, swimming pool, table tennis, bumper car, swing, seesaw, horse merry-go-round, slides, lawn tennis, video games PS4, piggy cart, to mention few. Feel the adrenaline rush as I list our games. Want to celebrate your child's birthday, graduation, reunion, get together, or want to surprise your friend, partner, or family? Come visit Diamond Amusement Park today and you'll be glad you did. Refreshment is available at affordable rate. Gate fee is 500 naira. For further inquiry, call 080-2677-3152 or visit Plot 2 New Yidi Road, Ilorin. Diamond Amusement Park, truly home of unlimited fun.
Mercy Ìlọrin pẹ̀lú Pastor J.T. Aboyeji ìjọ Ọlọ́run ìjọ Amọ̀kòkò Pottersport International Churches. Àánú la nílò látọ̀dọ̀ Olúwa wa pàtàkì jùlọ lásìkò yìí. Ká lè mórí bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ìtìjú, ẹ̀gàn àti èlé kókó. Ẹ tara ṣàṣà máa bọ̀ ẹ̀yin pẹ̀lú mọ̀lẹ́bí yín láti wá gba àánú. Lólú ìjọ The Pottersport Church Greatest Arena No. 5B Unity Road Ìlọrin. Ẹ má gbàgbé láti gbé omi dání àti fọ́tò gbogbo àwọn àyànfẹ́ nínú mọ̀lẹ́bí yín. Gbogbo èèyàn tó bá wá la máa fún ní mántù tá a mọ̀ sí handkerchief. Ọjọ́ Sunday ọjọ́ 29 oṣù kẹsàn-án ní Greatest Arena No. 5B Unity Road Ìlọrin. Láago 5 rọ̀lẹ́. Live streaming máa wáyé bí pẹpẹ àánú Altar of Mercy bá ṣe ń lọ lọ́wọ́ lórí YouTube at Pastor pastor jt aboyeji ìwọ náà fẹ́ bá wọn kọrin àánú ni mo rí gbà tètè máa bọ̀ wá sí ìpàgọ́ pẹpẹ àánú altar of mercy ìlọrin pẹ̀lú pastor jt aboyeji. You are great bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń bọ̀ lọ́jọ́ sunday ọjọ́ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kẹsàn-án aláàánú ni jésù olúwa wa.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Diamond 887 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
All right, you're welcome back from that commercial break. This is still the Diamond Breakfast Show where we're discussing issues of national importance. And I am Nedu Okorie. The first issue we looked at before we went on that break, we mentioned that the presidency is planning to reshuffle its cabinet before the 1st of October. And we looked at various cabinets, various ministries that seems not to be functioning, and the size of the ministers of the cabinet and what needs to be done. And many have also alluded that the number of ministries has also, is also adding to the increment in the cost of governance and all that. Well, let's move on to other discussions. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned that Oshiomhole made a statement regarding cross-carpeting. But, okay, let's chip in the score. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, please, good morning. What's your name?
This is Mr. Issa from Ilari.
All right, Mr. Issa, you have 30 seconds quickly.
I think, personally, the way I look at it, there are two key ministries that have, contributed to the removal of oil subsidy: power and energy and the Ministry of Transport. These areas are very important. If federal government is going to shuffle, it should look into their performances. Especially transport. When something was removed, transport was very easy to even common people. It should come. Demand there is not doing anything. We are not seeing the effect. That is we are supposed to see the effect of something that is removed. So demand there is not doing anything. And power demand is just increasing the bill. There is no movement in the performances.
All right.
So demand there should also be removed. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Issa, for your submission. Well, okay, should we add more?
The issue of Minister of Power.
Yes.
He's been fantastic, to be honest with you.
Really?
He started on a very,
Despite the fact that the national grid has been collapsing many times and
collapse,
the tariff has been increasing.
No, this is it. National grid collapse, is actually technical, you understand what I'm saying? Which the government is also working hard, you understand what I'm saying, to contain. Now, the problem is within the sector. The problem has been how to restructure it. But if you realize, and which is more like majorly driven by liquidity, you understand what I'm saying? The lack of the paucity of liquidity within that sector, you understand what I'm saying, has constrained the operation of the ministry. But what we realized that the moment this minister came into, office, he was a little bit, I think at the time maybe he was still observing the situation around. He's an investment banker, so he's been able to bring that wealth of knowledge into play. And one of those things he did, you understand what I'm saying, to have actually, what's it called, get me, on his side, is by restructuring. I'm talking about the manner at which he has restructuring the tariff system in order to mobilize the required finance. You understand what I'm saying?
In different bands.
Within the sector.
Okay.
You get me right?
Okay.
Because initially, before now, our discourse were defaulting in terms of their payments to the TCN, which is the what do they call it again?
The
transmission company. You understand what I'm saying? Sorry, the Gencos. Generation companies. But what we realize now is that initially the burden even been added by NESI, which is the National Electricity Supply what's it called company. Has actually it has waned significantly. Now we have the cost recovery within the system. I'm talking about the getting value, or let's say making money for the value input into the sector. You know what I'm saying? This particular minister has been able to revitalize that. Now these costs are now getting their money. They are recovering what they are investing into the sector. You understand what I'm saying? So, and the Gencos also likewise. The issue of what's it called? Before now, 80% of our electricity supply was generated from gas. 80% as we speak. 20 is less than, not even 20. I think about 60% from hydro, then 4% from other, sources. Now, before now, what we usually have, one of the major reasons why we usually, experience that system collapse, or what do they call it again? the national grid collapse
Yeah.
was because of majorly, number one, at times the failure, you understand what I'm saying, failure of the Gencos to pay the gas companies, and you know, as a result of that, we'll be subjected to a lengthy period of power outage within the sector. But what we have right now, some of these things has changed, and the government has been able to, you know, ensure that, you know, recoup most of the money. I'm talking about this money we're talking about from those in band A to make up for those in the lesser bands.
Are you aware?
So all of this structuring.
Are you aware that the layman, the common man on the street, might not really understand all these technicalities involved? What the common man needs to understand is
it is our responsibility.
Value for whatever he's paying for.
It is our responsibility to tell the people. You understand what I'm saying? And that is exactly one of the things I realized that the problem we have is because of, you know, information and communication. That is one of the problems. The people don't even know that there has been a significant change within the sector. Now, tell me, currently as we speak, the list of electricity you get as we speak, whichever band you understand you belong today, is at least 5 hours in a day.
I don't get that.
Well, I live in Tanke.
Per day?
I live in Tanke.
Let me tell you.
Per day, I'm telling you. I live in Tanke. Where do you live? I live in Tanke here in Ilorin, and I can tell you that there are times that we use at least 18 hours of electricity, you know, a day.
Maybe I should move to Tanke.
There's been a significant change within the sector. Let's be honest with ourselves. You see, what we are waiting for, or what we are looking for, is an 100%, you know, turnaround of the sector. But forgetting the fact that it takes time. It takes time for everything to trickle down. But I can tell you this for a fact. I may not be able to speak for any other ministry. For that ministry of power, I tell you that Bayo Adelabu has been exceptional.
All right. Thank you so much for your submission. Many would say maybe you are a spokesperson of the ministry, but
I'll be glad
you
to
are
actually,
not.
I'll be glad to actually, you know.
All right, quickly.
End the burden.
Let's delve into our second conversation. Sequel to the declaration of Monday, or Okpebolo, yes, Okpebolo as of the APC as the winner of Saturday's governorship election in Edo State. Senator Adams Oshiomhole has yesterday warned those that are planning to defect from PDP to APC that the days of playing both sides are over. Well, we don't really know who is addressing, but is advising them to stay with PDP and Asue Godalo. And he said the video is actually circulating online. And let's look at the spate of defection and cross-carpeting. Does it really strengthen our democracy? Does it strengthen the party system in Nigeria? Even though it occurs elsewhere, but does it really strengthen the party systems?
Well, I think it's actually, you know, it's a bane. You understand what I'm saying? In our political system, it has become a bane rather, and it's all, you know, because we have this frequent cross carpeting, not anchored. The what's it called, gladiators within the APC fold as we speak. These were the people who formed the major fulcrum of the PDP before now. You understand what I'm saying? So they are what's it called? Our politicians are very swift and smart. They understand. That is the reason why you see, you know, what they do first is to blackmail a party. You understand what I'm saying? When, you know, let's say more like an office holder, or let me say when an administration is not performing, instead of, you know, focusing on the what's it called, the leadership of the administration. You understand what I'm saying? We make it a party thing. And this is the reason why, so that we can use that opportunity, you understand what I'm saying, to improve the what's it called, the public acceptance of the other party. You understand what I'm saying? So in order to gain power. You understand me? And this in the long run is counterproductive. For me, I believe our parties, you understand what I'm saying? Or should I say, when we have issues or situation whereby a government or an administration is not performing, let's hold the administration accountable, not calling out the party. Our politics has not matured to that point. You understand what I'm saying? Whereby we can hold the party responsible. Because most of this administration we are even talking about come in with what's it called, an agenda that is not in sync with, you know, the what's it called, the principle of the party. You understand me? You can look at the current administration with APC is about progressivism. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm correct, you understand me? But there are some certain what's it called, policies of the government that are socialist. Welfarist in nature. You get me? So that is what we are talking about. So if you are to look at, there's this dissonance between the party and the people. You understand what I'm saying? As a result of that, trying to place a blanket condemnation on a party or the excesses of an administration on the party is quite difficult and is not healthy for a democracy. It gives this politician that it creates a platform for them to easily migrate whenever they've wrecked the fortune of the party to the other one and claim to be saint. That's what we have between APC and PDP.
What about a situation where the ideologies of a particular individual in a party is no longer in tandem with that party? Does it suffice to say that he has the privilege to, defect to another party? Take, for example, some southeastern governors during the tenure of Buhari. I don't know the kind of allegiance they developed towards the APC. They defected from the PDP to the APC. And just like you rightly mentioned, they will look for certain things to blame the party of and, defect. What about ideologies?
You see, like I said, it fits into what I said earlier. Our parties are not ideological. Only should I say our parties are not ideologically
the ideologies
driven.
Is not in tandem with what is obtainable.
The major ideology, the variety ideology of most of our political gladiators is self-interest.
Self-interest.
Yes, and this self-interest in question, there's nothing wrong with self-interest, but what we have is that we have primitive self-interest. You understand me? So that's the reason why if I lose an election, instead of me to stay put in the party, you understand what I'm saying, and help in developing the party, I'll cross to another party where my chances will be enhanced.
Or where your interests will be accepted.
There's nothing like the gladiators. I won't say the political parties. I'll say the political gladiators in Nigeria are not ideologically, you understand what I'm saying, inclined.
All right, can we take this call, please? Okay, 0913-655-6952. You can chip in your call. But before then, let's take this message. It says, good morning, Odogu and the guest in the studio. I'm 100% in support of the Minister of Power. That man is doing well.
Wonderful.
I have never enjoyed light like this before. Ayo from Tanke. People from Tanke,
people are switching off. Not even in Tanke.
Really?
Outside, go to Abuja, go to Lagos. But the problem is the tariff. What people are complaining about is the tariff.
No, the thing
but
is,
if you are not in band A,
many
you are
are
still a little
saying
bit immune.
If the tariff, if the value they get from whatever they pay as tariff is in tandem, they don't care any amount. They don't care the amount.
You can see the protest in Lagos. That's an emphatic lie. The people are complaining. They are even praying, begging. What's it called? IEDC in Lagos to downgrade them to band B or band C or thereabout.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Adams Oshiomhole was referring to one serving commissioner in Obaseki government.
Okay.
PDP government.
Okay.
Who wanted to defect to a peace.
Okay.
I always say it. I'm an elderly person, so I always mind my language. But whether we like it or not, politics is business in Nigeria. The most lucrative business. In America, as I'm talking to you, 40 out of the 44 cabinet members of Trump, they parted ways with him. They refused to endorse him. That's how politics should be played. But in Nigerian politics, is come and eat, not ideology.
All right.
So even Oshiomhole is saying that initially he was against Philip Shaibu coming in. But when he saw that it will help them to win the election, he kept quiet. So we are all deceiving ourselves. God bless Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bamdelige. All right. This message says there are ministers who are not doing anything, but Minister of Power has been doing a fantastic job, and if allowed to continue before the expiration of this government, we will be nearing 80%, if not 100% stability of power. Mr. Ajayi Iromo from Ilorin, Kwara State. Okay, thank you so much. This one says, good morning, house. Whatever your guest explained, the power minister is doing. What the ordinary citizen wants to see is constant light. The process is not our concern. What about the Minister of Transport, Issa Mohammed from Ilorin? Just like I said earlier, the outcome, that's what we want to see. But certain pockets of places are experiencing good power. You mentioned Tanke, but in places like Asadam, the power supply is not up to par. You understand? So these are the realities that are on ground. All right, 0913-655-6952, 0913-655-6952. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please. Good morning.
My name is
All right, please kindly speak up.
about the issue of the Minister of Power. The man is doing a great job. And the minister waves me, I like part is Professor Israeli Pantami. He is a good person. I don't know why Tinubu is not appoint the person again. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I think we have dealt well on dwelt well on that topic, and we have also discussed the spate of defection in APC. We mentioned ideology and personal interest, which sometimes might not be in tandem with the interests of the people. Sometimes personal interest is also in tandem with party interest. You understand? So some of the time. Well, quickly, let's look at our last conversation. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has summoned the popular Nigerian cross-dresser Idris Okuneye. We all know him as Bob, or we all know her. He has mentioned that we should be addressing him as her. So we all know her as Bobrisky. And the self-acclaimed activist Martins Otse, popularly known as Very Dark Man, they have asked them to, they have summoned them over bribery allegations against officers of the EFCC. On Tuesday, Very Dark Man shared a video on social media saying that Bobrisky gave some EFCC officers 15 million naira to drop the money laundering charges against her. Meanwhile, Bobrisky has come out to deny the allegations and described the voice recording between him and what's his name again? Falano's son, that's Falano Fowles, as fake. And Bobrisky also insisted that she served her term. Very Dark Man, on the other hand, yesterday said he won't be honoring the invite to Lagos because he lives in Abuja, that they should rather invite him to their Abuja office. And many have reacted to this issue. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, he has ordered for comprehensive investigation. The NBA have also described it as disturbing. Now, Faust, the bad guy, we all know him as Faust, the bad guy, has also made a statement. He has issued a court statement to Very Dark Man to retract that statement that he would not, according to Very Dark Man, he said, in everything and everyone that is mentioned here, I will be disappointed if truly Fowles and his father are involved in this whole Bobrisky issue. And based on the release that I saw, it was mentioned that Bobrisky put a call through to Fowles to request or to solicit for funds and advice and legal advice and all that. So what's your take, General? Let's round off with this. What's your take on these happenings, these allegations on EFCC officials and officers of the Nigerian correctional centers?
Well, it's for me personally, it's a disheartening, occurrence, and for the not just for the people involved, but for the institutions that have been dragged into it. The CG, I'm talking about of the Nigerian Correctional Center.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And the EFCC, you understand what I'm saying, have been fingered in this anathema. So for me, I think it's a very sad tale. You understand what I'm saying? And also it radiates very negatively. You understand what I'm saying on the consciousness of our country. You get me? So that is the reason why for me, I would encourage the government to actually beam such lights, you understand me, into the situation in order to get to the root of it. It's so difficult right now to really comment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, on this issue. Yeah,
because it's a developing story. And what I've realized about, what's it called, issues in Nigeria is that the first issue that it's the news most times is not actually a reflection of the true, of the reality of that situation. So let's allow the whole thing to run its course, and allow the the investigation of the panel set, to investigate the situation. Let them conclude and give us the finding, their findings. Then we can be specific or safe per se. You understand what I'm saying? Apportion blame where it belongs. But for now, I think there are some damning revelation that has been made that needs to be pointed out. The first is that some certain elements within the EFCC collected 15 million to remove one of his charges, And to be fair with you,
Okay.
what we have out there is that the money laundering preferred against him was withdrawn. That's a fact.
Okay.
Was withdrawn.
So the only one that remained is
it was-
mutilation of
yes,
the
it was-
naira.
yeah, exactly. Prosecuted for that alone. So what happened? What did the prosecutor, the EFCC prosecutor, what made him more to what's it called? Step down that particular aspect of his prosecution in terms of his what's it called, of the allegation. You get me? So we must get to the root of it. You understand me? And this also further fits into what has become a random thought on the street, that there are some elements within our security agencies that are ready to trade this country for their own personal interest. Remember how what's it called, the Binance official bail, you understand what I'm saying, from Nigeria. We all know that couldn't have happened without the complicity of some internal elements. I'm talking about some of the some of the officials of this agency.
Yeah.
You understand me? So we need to get to the root of it. We need to get to the root of it, and the government must do everything possible in order to salvage his image. Because let me tell you this: the Nigerian, consciousness is tainted by this particular revelation. So the government needs to get to the root of it so that we know what exactly is going on. So personally, for me, when talking about, the culpability of the Falanos, well, these are legal practitioners.
Yeah.
You get me, right? And I would, afford them that, opportunity that comes with you carrying out your responsibility. Perhaps I would say in the interim for now, if I'm to say, I would say let's give them that benefit of the doubt until we get to the root of it before casting any aspersion on them. You get me? Because these are people, we are talking about the people who render legal services. You understand what I'm saying? To everyone. Anybody in the society can easily reach out to them for, their services, and they are what's it called, legally binded also to oblige them. You get me, right? So for me, I wouldn't want to involve in any image sodomy. You get me? So once we are at the root of this, then we'll be able to say maybe someone encouraged the other to pay for any pardon or whatsoever, presidential pardon. Even though I'm aware that elsewhere, the issue of lobbying in terms of what's it called, presidential pardon or whatsoever is real. It happens in other times also.
It
but
does.
the problem here is that there's an allegation that pardon, the lobbying is being done with the influence of some certain inducement.
In the agencies.
Yes, inducement between, the legal entity. I'm talking about the Falano and the Falanos and Bobrisky. You get me, right? So I think there must be, an inquisition into that. Let's establish the truth of
Our
the
time
situation.
is fast spent, please.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Well, following all this, a court, letter has been sent to, Very Dark Man, demanding for a withdrawal and retraction of that statement, which seems defamatory.
He has also he has replied through his own legal advisor. I think yes, Deji Adeyanju. He has replied, even though when you look at what was in that particular letter, you realize that it wasn't an admission per se, and at the same time it wasn't. He didn't make.
He
any
denied
effort.
defaming.
No, he never. Yes, he denied defaming them.
All right.
He said he only put out what he heard or what is on tape, and which he has an evidence to back.
All right, let's call it a day, Mr. Toby Sukomi John. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Our time is really fast spent, and I can see that our phone lines are actually pausing. Especially, I sincerely apologize to those who we couldn't take their calls and messages. Maybe next time. This is the Diamond Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right.
You might look alike.
My name is Nedu Okorie. Let's do this again on Saturday. Join me on National Affairs on Saturday, where we discuss issues that trended throughout this week. Have a wonderful day.
Hour after hour of quality programming all around the clock with us. Every second and minute counts when it comes to bringing you the best of programming on radio. Diamond 88.7 FM remains your best bet. Be it sport, talk radio, entertainment and music. One thing is certain, we've got you.